Hello, it's me, Jennifer O'Brien. Welcome to the Jennifer O'Brien Show. I'm your host, as always. It would just be weird if I wasn't hosting the show with my name in it, so I just keep doing it. And I'm really excited this week. I have a very talented and funny lady who I've been able to get to know thanks to Maurice Brown, comedian Maurice Brown has a show that this lady and I have been on several times together. And through that show, we've kind of gotten to know each other. And she's always somebody I enjoy hearing her insights, what she has to say about life and being a mom and all everything in between. So I'm so excited. We were talking before we even went live, and boy, this lady and I can just talk and talk. So we're going to get on here and share some of that with you. So without waiting any longer, I'm going to bring up Felicia, Fefe Frazier, comedian extraordinaire. So, I almost ended the broadcast. That's how good I am at this. Wrong button. Let's bring her up. Hey. I was going to the end broadcast button. It just made sense in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Let's just end the show.
We're ending it before we started it. That's how good. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for coming on today.
No problem. I'm excited.
I am too. It's been you and I could just tell, like when we just start talking, we could just go. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? We can just go for miles and just right. I'm like, wait, we gotta go on here and talk live and do this. So I'm glad we're here. So let's let everybody kind of know. I'd love to hear how your comedy journey began. I know you've touched on it before, but for those just tuning in, how did you get started in comedy?
How did I get started? Let's think. Do I want to give you the short version or the extended version?
Whatever you feel.
Well, I've been doing comedy officially. You know how you have that moment where you're like, I'm really a comedian,
Yes.
I'm a comic, I've been doing comedy officially for 15 years.
Okay.
So that would be when I turned 21 years old. That was when I was in college. But that's not where the journey began. The journey began before that at church with my brother. We used to do, well, actually, it was his little skit doo-wop thing, for youth night. My pastor was like, we want all the kids to come and just let the Lord use your talents. And my brother was like, okay, I got some ideas. All I need you to do is get the microphone and say this. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. And he was like, you're going to do it. And it's going to be funny. And I'd go out there and say whatever he told me to say. And the audience would crack up laughing. And I'd be like, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
So that was 12, 13, 14.
Wow.
And then at 16, I did my first, what's it called? Talent show. And I did stand-up comedy. And I had my little cue cards because I couldn't remember my jokes. And then after that, when I got to college, I went to college and I did theater as my major because in high school, that's all I wanted to go to school for. So I was like, well, I might as well do it in college too, performing, acting, all that good stuff. So in college, I kept getting people who were like, you're very funny. Do you want to host our program? You're very funny. Do you want to do this? And I'm like, well, I host programs at church and I make people laugh, but I don't really know if I really want to do the whole comedy thing like that.
Yeah.
And one night I had a vision. I don't really talk about that much, but I had a vision one night of me being on stage and people in the audience crying. And I don't know if they were crying because they were laughing or they were crying because they were healing, but I kind of took it to do both things.
Wow.
And I kind of decided that I would go ahead and try it because ever since I was 8, I wanted to be an entertainer. Wasn't really sure if I wanted to be a comedian, but I wanted to be an entertainer.
Right.
It kind of just unfolded and the years came. And then when I turned 21, I was like, okay, we're going to officially do this thing. And that's all she wrote. So I gave you the extended version.
Well, that's great. So, but no, it's there. Typically, sounded like that gifting was there. Even at 8 years old, you're like, "Okay, I wanna entertain. I know I need to entertain," and then,
Right.
you're giving these opportunities through your teenage years, and you're like, "Oh, these people are laughing. I'm up here just with a mic," and the confirmation when you have people around you just like, "You're so funny. You gotta do this." It's almost, you're getting that and I wouldn't say validation, but it's confirming this gifting that's right, just this natural gift, and not
Right.
everybody has that, so I think when
It's
people
true.
can see that, they
My
want to
pastor was
encourage
one.
that.
My pastor growing up, he was horrible. Oh, he would
Yeah.
call me on like Saturday night and be like, "Hey, tomorrow you're hosting a program." I'm like, "Wait." And he's like, "It's okay.
Wow.
You're gifted." And he'd hang up the phone. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And sure enough,
Wow.
that next morning, Sunday morning, I'd be right up there and he'd give me the microphone and go sit down. And I'd be like, "Hey, everybody. Good morning. Praise the Lord." Like whatever.
Wow.
He
No
said, and
way.
he told me one night, he was like, "I'm gonna push you into the gift that God has given you." And I was like,
Wow.
"Okay."
Yeah. Wow, well, it's great that God already he put somebody in your life that saw that gifting young and, as a good mentor, father figure, he fanned into the flame this talented gift that you have and gave you those moments to just get out there and go for it. So
Right.
building that confidence at such a young age.
I was gonna
Um
say that being able to see yourself in these different situations and in these different places
Mhm.
at such a young age, even if I, went off and did other things, I always had that moment where I'm like, but I was able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? So tell me when you're 21 and you're like, "I'm going for this," how did that look for you when you decided were you stepping now into a club arena, or did you just start, like, hosting different events on your college campus? What did that look like for you at 21?
21, I had a birthday party. It was like my official
I
launching.
can drink Jesus juice legally. That's what that
Listen,
party was about.
listen, I was gonna get it however I could. No, no, but no, I wasn't drinking. They didn't let me drink because when I tried drinking, I couldn't
Couldn't
hold
handle it. You
anything.
couldn't
Yeah.
hold it.
It was like I would drink like a daiquiri that was like that heavy,
Yeah.
and then I'd be done for the rest of the night. It was horrible. So
Oh, no.
I gave that
Okay.
up early.
Okay.
But yes, at 21, I never really got into the whole club scene.
Mhm.
And it's so amazing and so interesting because I never had to.
Yeah.
It was always somebody wants you to come to their church and host something. And then I'd go there, and then somebody would say, "Oh, I need your number. I need you to come do something."
Mhm.
Oh, my sister needs you to come to her birthday party. Oh, this, oh that. So it was this like chain of connections and events,
Right.
and it just kind of snowballed into, "You don't have any business cards?" And I'm like, "I need business cards." And I'm like, "Yeah, because
Wow.
you're asking for your business cards." I'm like, "Okay." So as the months and years started rolling in, I
Mhm.
never had an agent. I never had a booking manager or anything like that. But people would always call me, and I would always have like a birthday party or a youth event, a concert or something. Every
Mhm.
month I was having like 4 to 5 different events that I was just booked to perform at. And I would,
Wow.
at first at 21, I would carry around, it was so funny. I would carry around like a little backpack, and I
Mhm.
would just write jokes and put them on the card and throw them in the bag. Like as I'm going throughout the day, I'd write my jokes and put them in the bag. So I
Wow.
had like these cue cards and these,
Mhm.
little index cards. I had like
Mhm.
100 and something index cards full of jokes, and I would just sit through them at night, going over jokes. And some of the jokes that I wrote way back then, I
Mhm.
still do now. Like some of my best jokes are jokes that I wrote at 21 in the middle of the night with some index cards in front of the mirror.
Wow.
So
That's great.
just trying to think about what was funny to me
Mhm.
and what I thought would make somebody else laugh. And
Yeah.
then I got mentors as the years kind of went. I met different people. I went to a couple of comedy conferences and met
Mhm.
some cool people. It's like, I
Yeah.
maxed out a credit card one time going to a conference, but it was worth
Uh-oh. It was worth it. I put my family in debt, and yet we had to We had to hawk grandma's treasures, but it was worth it.
All right. It was worth it. It was for my life.
It's interesting. Yeah, because as performers and comedians, it's good to have that kind of that community, like other like-minded comedians, like you're not
Right.
alone. And then as you share your struggles and you hear, oh, they have similar struggles, or yeah,
Right.
and we help each other, right? We can share, okay, this is what worked for me. And it's great to have that network.
And
And
just somebody to just
Mhm.
say, I'm not crazy.
Confirmation, I'm not
Yeah,
crazy.
there's
Okay.
other people who think this is a legit thing to do as
Yeah.
well. And
Yeah.
they're grown-ups like me.
Yeah, yeah, you're like, "Okay," unless we're all just crazy, which we could explore that one too, which
Yes.
I'm thinking of maybe 50-50, maybe a little
Eh.
bit of both. Eh. Yeah, so it's great, like, that's been I started off young as well. I was 22 when I first took the stage, but I did it different, like, I did clubs and different, I started differently. I didn't have a father figure that believed in me. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't have support. Um, no, but it's true. Like when I started out, it was great, but then, life had it. I was a single mom when I left for a stint, or I just stopped doing it. So
Right.
coming back into comedy, after my midlife crisis, those are always fun,
Yeah, you
always
gotta
something to look
find
forward
yourself.
to.
You gotta find
Thanks.
yourself. What's missing?
I
And then
know.
yeah.
And then my whole life's a midlife crisis, but that's another story for another time. But one thing I love is the community and the network that I've been able to build,
Right.
really coming into this more differently this time. When I except, besides when I first started, is building
Right.
that network and like holding on to some of these people that have just been such lifelines for me
Right.
in my journey.
You know
Because
what I always say, and I say
Mhm.
this to people who are like just coming into comedy or people who've been doing comedy. If you don't quit
Mhm.
at least 3 times, one time officially and other times in your head,
Yeah.
this isn't for you. You're not
Yeah.
going to make it as a comedian. You have to quit at least once
Yeah.
officially, and you got to stop doing jokes, stop doing,
Mhm.
anything.
Mhm.
And then you got to quit in your head a couple times too. Like,
Oh,
you're
all the time. If you don't leave a comedy show at least a few times a year, like, why am I doing that? I'm not fun. I don't like what who else struggles with that? Like I do. Like I'm always like, wait, that sucked. That was terrible. I can't believe it. What am I even doing anymore? It's like,
I gotta find something else to do with my life.
yeah.
This
Why
ain't
do I
it.
keep torturing myself with some of these venues? But then you grow and you learn, but some of it's like,
Yeah,
it can be rough.
it's
I was talking to my husband about just how dark it can get in my head sometimes, which
no, you have the syndrome like me where sometimes something like the door will open slowly and I will make a entire story where the door
Mhm.
came open and then my head hit the door and by the end of the story I'm on a stretcher in the hospital. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could get all the way to death in 7.8 steps.
Zero to
Everything can
60.
lead to death in 7.8 steps. Like don't stand by that window, you might die.
Right.
Like
Is
don't
that
step on that step like that, you might die.
die?
And I can show you the pathway there.
Listen, it's a gift. It's the gift of a comedian. We can always see the darkest, scariest, and then we have to make light of it because we gotta pull ourselves out of that place, and
And
that's
take
where the humor
everybody else
comes
with
in.
us.
Guys, we're all dark. No, okay, no. Oh. Well, yeah, it is. And I'd like to talk about that. Let's talk about that for a minute because you mentioned that, and that's true. I remember kind of dabbling in comedy right after my second daughter, and it's just hard trying to go to clubs and do it, and then I wouldn't have a great set, or I'd be just hormonal, and then I'm like, I'm never doing this again. And I would want people to talk me out of it. And I remember telling a friend, like, I'm just done. I hate preparing for shows. Like I just listed all, and I did. And I think after that, I did stop for about 2 or 3 years. I didn't even get on a stage.
Right.
So I
But then
love that you said that.
every time you drove past that place or you drove past a venue that you've done before, you'd be thinking in your mind, wonder if I should go back and get on stage. Were you like that? Because I tortured myself the entire time I was on my so-called break. And I was like, but I just really want to go get a microphone.
Yeah. I really drove it home. I think I just started doing more videos. I just kind of explored other avenues of
Right.
comedy besides just stand up, which I love stand up, but I love my character comedy and I love improv. So I just dabbled in some different things
Right.
but yeah, there's always that like you don't nobody wants to start off in whatever your career is. You don't become a doctor and think, "Oh, I just hope I work in some clinic that nobody really pays me and nobody even pays it." You want to be successful, right?
Right.
And whatever career you set out to really work, you want to have some level of success.
Right. I think the thing that kind of got me early on was that I desperately wanted to be funny to people who were my age.
Okay.
And ever since I was little, I was always told that I had an old soul.
Mhm.
And I never related that much to people who were my age, even in school. I was
Mhm.
that kid who, like, you know how you have like the popular table? I
Mhm.
would walk by it on purpose.
Mhm.
Like, all of you guys are weird, and I'm going to find a nerd because we get
Yeah.
along and we
Yeah.
understand each other. Like,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
never that kid who wanted to be popular, who wanted to be seen, who wanted to have the latest fashion fad. I just was never that kid.
Yeah.
So as I got older and I started doing comedy, and I I I went through a period where I was kind of second guessing myself because I could not figure out how to entertain people who were in that 20 something crowd. And that was
Mm.
my age. And I was like, well, maybe I'm not funny. And then I
Mm.
started doing events for people who were 20 years older than me, or
Mhm.
doing, crowds of people who were 40 and 50 and 60. And they were cracking up. And I was like,
Mhm.
well, maybe the subject matter of the things that I talk about, they can't relate to.
Mhm.
So maybe that's just not my demographic. So then
Yeah.
I had to learn at that point the jokes that I was telling, and the things that I could relate to. A lot of people who were my age couldn't relate to. They just weren't
Mhm.
thinking about those types of things. So it's like, okay, well, one, right now in this time period in my life, let's try to, you know, cater more to the people who are in the demographic that I can serve. And while I'm
Mhm.
doing that, let's try to write some jokes that are more universal so that people who I don't necessarily relate to automatically, they'll be able to relate to some of the things that I say. It's neither here nor there at this point because we're in our 30s now and
Yeah.
we're all on the other side of the bridge.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
everybody's on the other side. But yeah, I went through a little period there where I realized that there's nothing wrong with if everybody doesn't think that you're funny.
Yeah.
And it's just the truth. You got to learn to
It is.
accept.
Well, it's like I was telling my therapist the other day. Because listen, if 2020 didn't put you in therapy, 2021 will. So everybody just sign up
It's
for
true.
something. No.
It's true.
No, but I was telling her like I was at the TJ Maxx because I love TJ Maxx already.
Yes.
And I was just looking at all these blouses and I ended up finding one that I really liked. But I thought that's kind of how comedy is. Like, we're not everybody's comedian. Like there's somebody that's going to like exactly what you or I do
Right.
and they are going to choose our brand of comedy just like I was like I like this shirt but I don't like all these other shirts. So I'm going to get the
Right.
one shirt I like. It's like so it's just like that's such a great it's a truth. It's hard truth because right we want everybody to like
Everybody to love me.
everything. And it's just not reality. Like it's just not and I'm okay with that. Like that's something I've had to really kind of grow in. And I still have to accept that, you know what? Just like I don't think every comedian out there's my comedian. Some are
Right.
just they're funny to some people, but not me. And that's
Right.
okay too. Um, and it's really it a lot of it's something for me, it's just maturing and realizing it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
And the thing about it for me, especially, is that I used to allow that to really get to me.
Hmm.
Like you said, with the maturity, it used to get to me because I kind of found value in,
Hmm.
the gift that God gave me. And I'm like, well, if I'm not valuable to everyone in this
Mhm.
gifting that God gave me, I mean, is this really what I should be doing?
Mhm.
And I had to understand. I think that that happened to me one day when I was at an event. Where was I? This might have been the when I was in college, and
Mhm.
it was a girl. She looked like she might have been around my age or a little bit older, maybe 2 or 3 years older than me. I
Mhm.
did an open mic at college one time, and
Mhm.
I don't remember the jokes I said. I was up there being crazy and saying crazy stuff, and just trying to get everybody to laugh. And
Mhm.
after the event, she came up to me and she
Mhm.
said, I mean, just as casual, I just wanted to let you know that I was on my way to my room to take a bottle of pills, but I'm glad that you were here because you kind of changed my attitude, and I'm not going to do it anymore. So thanks. And I was like,
Wow.
what? Like,
Yeah.
she said it so casually. And then,
Wow.
are you serious? She was like, yeah, you know. And I was just like, first, I didn't know if she was playing or not.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that sort of thing has happened to me, so many times,
Mhm.
where I would think that I came to a certain place for, oh, this is going to be an amazing event or whatever. And then, like you said, sometimes you don't do as well as you thought that you would do. And
Mhm.
after the event, somebody would come up to you and be like, oh my God, I just needed to hear that. You just made me feel so great.
Mhm.
And you're like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's the validation sometimes that I think about when that old part of myself tries to creep up and like, you're not as funny as you think you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Get your affirmations back out. Look in the mirror. I am funny. I
It's
am worth it. I am good enough. I'm funny enough. Gosh darn it, people like me. Yeah. Comedians' affirmations. Yeah, it's true. I don't know if there's a way of not getting in your head sometimes. I
right.
just think we have to be aware that certain times, certain shows, it's late, things might have not, and that we just have to kind of that's just part of the job. It's part of
Right.
what we do. I mean, of course, there's those shows that you're on top of the world and you're like, oh my gosh, I am the best. Everybody. Oh my gosh. And then there's those shows like, wait,
I
what am I
know his
doing in
voice.
Mexico? Like, what am I doing here again? So I just, and I don't know if it's because I'm older and I'm just more aware as when
Right.
there was a confidence and almost I don't know if it's cockiness, but when I was younger, I was just like, I'm funny. Yeah, just watch out. Listen, I get it. I know it. Get in line, everybody. I don't have that anymore. Now I have a confidence on stage, but let
Right.
me just tell you, I think too, I have to really kind of watch my thinking too sometimes and be
Yeah.
like, "You know what? Hold on. Reel it in." But,
Right.
it's
I've learned that I'm more uh I guess more sensitive than the
Mhm.
average person.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I used to try to camouflage it, try to act like it wasn't, that big of a
Right.
deal. Like I can't watch horror movies. I just
Oh.
can't do it. I can't. There's certain
Mhm.
programs, certain movies that people tell me about. When I hear about the subject matter, I can't do it because
Mhm.
it will take so long to get me out of that dark place. Like,
Listen.
I told my
Yeah.
husband one day, I was like, "No, I can't watch that with you." And he's like, "Why? It's just a movie." And I'm like, "No, because my
Mm-mm.
emotional recovery time is very slow, and
Right.
I'm not about to spend my week in mental therapy with myself
Thank you.
just to watch this crazy movie with you." But
Listen.
I don't
Go
know
ahead.
if all comedians are like that, but I know I am. I'm
I am too.
super sensitive to things
Mhm.
like that, like outer
Mhm.
stimuli.
Mhm. Well, listen, I always say when the movie ends, guess what? It's just getting started up here. Thank you very much. Let me go play this one out for several days. And that's just it's true. Like I have learned I am not I wished I could be that cool person because I used to love horror movies. I had Freddy Krueger poster over my bed
That is
as a young
funny.
girl. You know what I mean? Like, I think but and then I took it down one night during a thunderstorm, I trust me, I think I was trying to be cool, it was middle
You
school.
try, you tried.
I was trying. Deep down, I was really scared, but now I can't, I can take a little bit of suspense and excitement, but if it's too it's forget it, it's days, it's days.
Wow.
I watched a documentary, and I won't even talk about the subject matter, but it was pretty horrific,
Right.
It just trust me, I've been playing that documentary out for several days now, and,
Right.
I need therapy. Like, I what happened in the document didn't happen to me, but for the people
But
that
I
it did
gotta get
happen to.
therapy for what happened to them. Like, what do you call that? A therapy transfer? Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, there has got to be a term for it, and I'm pretty sure I do it all the time.
You
It's
got
like,
reserved trauma.
"Look, when we're done with my trauma, hold on, let me pull all this other trauma that wasn't even mine." There's actually really a term for it because I remember someone telling me about a therapist that even therapists have to be aware that they could take on,
Right.
you know what I mean? And it unfortunately, most therapists are really empathetic and super, they feel deeply. So, but don't sign me up for that. Like, no,
What, to
I
be a
got,
therapist?
yeah,
Oh, no,
no,
no. I've
no.
tried, especially
Mm.
when, when you do youth ministry and the
Oh,
teenagers are always coming with their
uh-uh.
stories, and you like,
Mm.
"Really? She did what?" And it's like,
Yeah.
"I can't take this." And then it's like,
Mm.
"I don't wanna know what's
Mm-mm.
going on in your teenage world. Don't tell me nothing. Go tell the pastor. I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just
Yeah.
volunteering."
Right. Now I need therapy too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Here's
I don't have those credentials. No, ma'am. No.
no, and I think because I'm so sensitive, I have a lot of, I want to hear what my friends have going on. And
Right.
sometimes I'm like, oh Lord, oh Lord, I can only have like a few of you in crisis at a time. Like everybody stop being in crisis right now
It's
because
too
now
much.
I'm in
This
crisis.
is
Thank
too
you.
much.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
okay. So tell me now, and thank you. This has been so good just hearing all the innards of the comedy journey. So now you are a mother. Tell me about being a mom and now a comedian. How does that?
Oh, see, I don't know. It's been very different for
Mhm.
me. Joining my life as a comedian with my actual personal life. It's so hard for me to blend the two. I don't know
Mm,
why. Even I was a teacher. I'm still a teacher, but I just teach
mhm.
in different, capacity. But full-time teacher for 10 years. Never talked about it on stage. It's like,
Wow.
I'm not going to talk about that trauma. But no, um,
Oh
but
man.
I just could never, I don't know. And then, like, being a comedian,
Mhm.
and when my son was first born, me and my husband were laughing about this the other day. He's almost 6 now. He's going to be 6 next Saturday.
Oh
But
wow.
when he was first born, it was like, during, like, and I had so many shows. Like, he was like a 4-month-old, 5-month-old in hotel rooms with us,
Oh.
doing these events. He was on the
Mhm.
road, that was our little travel buddy. But
Mhm.
then as he got older, he just kept getting, a little bit more wild and wild. It was like, okay, we can't take you on the road with us no more.
Yeah.
We had to get babysitters. But at
Yeah.
first we're like, okay, we doing this family road trip, and
Uh-huh.
then one day the family road trips had to stop.
Mm-mm.
But
Mm.
yeah, it was exciting for me. I'm still learning to balance it all
Yeah.
because I think we all have dealt with the mom guilt, where
Oh.
you want to be, the best mom ever, but you don't
Mhm.
want to neglect yourself at the same time because all the experts say that you're your best, you're the
Mhm.
best mom when you're your best self. And for
Mhm.
us, we're just like, but I can be empty and be a good mom too, whatever.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but it's not true,
No,
and
not
then
deep down.
you give your
Mhm.
kids everything that you have all day, and then you're stuck at midnight staring in the dark trying to remember what's your favorite color. It's hard.
Like, go to bed. Yeah.
And I used to laugh about it, when people used to tell me when they put their kids to bed and then they're up all night. I'm like, I'll never be that person.
Uh-huh.
But that's so me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always like on edge about what's going on. Where is she? What did he do? What's going on? With my daughter, my son. I'm
Mhm.
always on edge, making sure I'm on top of them all day. I'm almost helicopter, but I would say maybe fighter jet. Not really helicopter. I don't hover. I just kind of fly by every
Yeah,
now and then, a
yeah.
little bit more frequently than I need to.
Mhm.
But when it's all over,
Mhm.
and they're finally in bed, no matter
Yeah.
what time, if they're fussy and they're going to bed at midnight, I'm up for 2 more hours doing absolutely nothing, just enjoying the
Wow.
peace, or just, trying to remember everything I got to do tomorrow. I got doctor's
Mhm.
appointment, I got this, I got that. It's so crazy. And then it's like when Friday comes, I have a show this weekend. Okay, comedy mode. And you just kind of got to flip back into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you come down from that high, it's like, am I doing too much for me? But I did go through a period like where I was really trying to remember, what do I like to eat?
Yeah.
Because I was so focused on everybody else's favorite foods and what's
Sure.
going to be good for them for lunch, and what kind of snacks do they eat at the grocery store. And then
Sure.
you forget all about what you like, because
Mhm.
nothing in the cart is yours. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
No.
finding this
Yeah.
balance is crazy, Jennifer. This balance of that I'm trying to find is never ending struggle. That's what I.
No, and then when you figure that balance out, you usually I always feel like once I kind of figure something out and I'm like, "Oh," then something else. It's just,
Right.
it's a kind that's just I think that's just life. We kind of like, "Ooh, I'm in a good routine. I figured this out." Ooh.
And then something else just gets.
Yes, and then it's like, "Oh, no, something else." It's short-lived, and you just gotta enjoy it while you have it, and
Exactly.
and that's the difference. Like, I started off as a stand-up, as a single mom, so it's like, I would just kinda run out and do a show and come back. I mean, I didn't tour or do anything crazy like that. Like, I was just getting stage time and doing
Right.
different events all around, the Atlanta area. But then, like I said, once I got married and then I had another daughter, it was like it was harder and harder to go show up. It was just like,
Right.
God, I just wanna watch TV, That's the title of my
I'm
book. I just
tired.
wanna watch TV already. So,
No,
TV
I did
on.
go through that. Listen, I went through a period of time
Mhm,
where when I was teaching full time,
mhm.
you would have thought I was a zombie. It was so
Oh
bad.
my
Like, because you know how teacher days are like long days. We wake up at
wow.
6 a.m.
I don't know how
We
y'all do
gotta
it.
be we gotta be to the
It just
school
seems
by
like
7:15. The
mm-mm,
kids are gonna be in the classroom by 8:05.
mm-mm.
After school, I have two conferences. I gotta grade papers. I gotta do it was and then I got this 1-year-old at home. He keeps staring at me, acting like he's hungry. And tomorrow interims are due, and I got a comedy show tomorrow night.
Wow. Oh,
And then, like, there were times when I canceled events where I was supposed to be doing comedy because I was so tired. And
well,
it made me feel so bad. I was just like, oh my God, but I'm so tired. I don't have nothing left. I can't do it. And I call one of my other friends and like, can you go do this event for me? Because I don't have enough energy. I can't do it. And
mhm.
I've been trying to be like, I felt bad because I felt like, comedy is what I love to do. Teaching is
Right.
what I do because I like it, and
Mhm.
it pays my bills.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Well,
it was rough trying to find that balance, and there were quite a few times, and I actually missed one. There was a show that I missed, and
oh,
I'm
no.
still mad at myself to this day. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
why. It was
Mhm.
a show where the vice president was speaking. Um, Joe Biden was there. This was like maybe 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my
And
gosh.
it was a Saturday event, and it was
Mhm.
for one of the city representatives, and I was on program to do some jokes, and I overslept. I
Oh
was so
my.
tired, and I woke up and I looked at my calendar. The event started at like 10:30 or something like
Mhm.
that. And by the time I looked at my calendar, it was like 11:45. And the
Wow.
the guy called me and he was like, "We were looking for you. You were supposed to go up like two people right before Joe Biden." And I was like, "Ah!"
Oh,
And it was just
no.
I was worn out. I was
Wow.
tired. I was so mad. But that was like years ago. And I was like, I gotta do better. I gotta find a better balance over my life. I gotta do
Mhm.
better. And that was before the kids. It was just me teaching and trying to be married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come on, let's talk about marriage. That's full time right there. It is in some
It's
ways.
not no walk in the park. I'm going on what,
No,
10,
no, it's work.
10 years? No, next year will be 10 years.
Oh my gosh. So wow, one of those moments where you're like, "Man, I coulda had the accolade of opening for vice president." Oh, or
Right.
being on the same that's a big one. I could see that
Yeah,
one stinging a little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry.
it
I'm
hurt. It
sorry.
hurt my
I
heart.
could see that. I feel for you, like, I feel for you, but yeah, so this is something as because 'cause we're still growing as humans and
Right.
learning how to balance things and, events and all that, so, okay, that's one of those comedy fail moments, so, since you shared
Epic.
that,
It was an epic.
I need you to share a comedy highlight, like, I want you to share that.
Okay.
If there ever be a comedy highlight, now's the time to share it so we could
Okay.
lessen
A
that strain.
highlight. Um, I can't say there's so many. It's just I'm so old I can't remember. Um,
I know I hate being put on the spot like this. I probably would struggle too.
let's
Um,
see. I guess
you kn
there could be a few
yeah.
that I would say were highlights. Um, during the time when I was on the Soul Funny radio show tour, that was a lot of fun. That was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. We were on the Soul Funny radio show tour because we were doing the radio show for a little while, and then we took the radio show cast and we did events with all the radio show cast at different events or different venues. And there was this one time where I got to do the old lady character that I used to do all the time, but I rarely do her now.
Mhm,
Her name is Motherboard, and I had my little hat, like the old,
mhm.
Southern church lady. I had my hat, I had my cane, and I came in, and nobody in the audience knew who I was. They actually thought that I was like an older lady, and I came down the aisle and I was talking trash and I was hitting people with my cane, and they were this like, what's going on? What's going on? And I got to the bottom of the got to the bottom. And when I got to the microphone, everybody realized at that point that I was, a part of the show. And I'm trying to remember exactly what I said. I can't remember exactly what it said, but whatever it was, they were cracking up laughing. And I always remember that because at that show and during that tour, I got to do my character, and then I came back and I also did a 15-20 minute set as comedian Fefe. And it was kind of like, I guess during that time, it was confirmation for me. It was like a confirmation for me to know that what I do really does impact people.
Mhm.
Like people really, like they really enjoy it, because you don't know all the time, and that was one of those things. Yes, that was with Stefan and Preacher Lawson, Kenny. So
Mhm.
Preacher Lawson, I was supposed to open. I was supposed to close the show a couple times, and I told Stefan, there is no way that I'm going after Preacher Lawson because Preacher Lawson has way too much energy. I was like, let me go up first, and then he can
Mm.
go up after me. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that was during that time. That was a fun tour. That was a great, period of my life. Shout out to Stefan Van. We're praying for him. He's having some health challenges right now, but the Lord is kind to him, and he's been such a great inspiration in my life. And
Mhm.
always gave me so many opportunities to hit the stage with him. It's a good time. That was a good time. Yeah.
Ah, that's great. Listen, I disappeared for a second during that
Oh,
story.
I saw that magic trick.
I
Um,
was It's a magic trick, thank you. I'm exploring that as well. Why not? Oh my gosh, so very cool. I love that. I love that you've had such a incredible journey in comedy. Okay, hold on. We've got something. I was in St. Pete's Beach for Clean Comedy Challenge. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Very cool. Clean Comedy Challenge. That's the Leslie Townsend Clean Comedy Challenge. I don't know if you've done that or
No, I haven't. I
um
wouldn't mind doing it.
I know a lot of comedians, the clean comedians do that as well. But yes, so cool. Well, I am so grateful that we got to get on here today and just hear your journey and just Yeah. And anything exciting coming up for you, or anything, or where can people find you?
Well, I'm trying to get better with being more on my Instagram, and I'm
Okay.
usually on Facebook, but I try to go to Instagram as well and make sure that people there know that I'm here.
Mhm.
I'm trying to do more, since we had some trauma happen in our family. So I kind of slowed down with my TikTok page, but I'm going to kind of get back on that. I had done like a couple of really good videos and then I just stopped because, it was too much going on, but getting back on TikTok very soon and building that up.
Okay.
Instagram at comedian Fefe.
Okay.
And I'm still doing, live events. I have a couple of concerts next weekend and
Mhm.
a church anniversary next Tuesday in Pompano. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a podcast in December. I'm not sure what the title of it's going to be. I'm working a couple of things, maybe partnering with some people and doing some things. So we don't know, but definitely podcast is going to be coming to you live in December. That's going to be fun. So I'm looking
Nice.
forward to that. I'm looking forward to continuing to just build up all this wonderfulness that God has put in all of us. And I think by us continuing to connect and
Mhm.
share each other's gift and each other's world, we'll continue to even build this bridge that we've built with this clean comedy. Because this is actually
Mhm.
the hardest brand of comedy, I believe,
Sure.
because it's so difficult sometimes to try to get people to understand that it's okay for you to laugh. I don't have to
Well.
insult you and laugh. Yeah, I can make you laugh by just giving you a good joke. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love it and I appreciate being here with you, Jennifer. I really do.
Oh, yeah. Well, this has been great. We'll have to definitely do this again in the
Wonder
future.
Twins.
Wonder Twins, I know, with our glasses, and Wonder Twins activate. So yeah, so everybody tuning in, definitely go check out at comedian Fifi is her handle. And yeah, if you're down in the South Florida area, she is the queen
Yeah.
of clean. And yeah, go check her out. And anyway, this has been great. Thanks for coming on, and let's do this again soon.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
And
Thank
now
you.
we're going to actually end the broadcast. Okay, hitting the